Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bulg here. I am back again. Took a couple days off in between the last Guild Wars 2 video, but this time, I told you, I found a little bit of footage that wasn't exactly boned for the Necromancer, so you get to see my fatty little character here. I made him a Norn, and he's quite beefy. He's very manly looking. I believe Sky was quite opposed to how ugly he actually is, but that's how I like it. Be unique. Anyway, as you see, I am actually in the WvWvW map currently. We're actually heading towards an outpost because we want to go to the Dinland Passage to try and take a supply depot, just for the hell of it. It's our first time doing this, so yeah, you get to come along and take a peek. As you'll notice, there are random mobs out here that are level 80. The main difference between WvWvD and the Mists is the fact that you are level 80 in here, but your gear does actually affect you, and your skills aren't all unlocked by nature. So your level actually is going to make a huge impact in WvWvD. This is something to keep in mind because going in, you could think, oh, I'm level 80, let's do it. But there could be a character that's 10 to 15 levels higher and they've just so happened to unlock an extra few skills or all their slots for, say, their ultimate skill, which can really turn the tide depending on the class. As you see here, we actually came across a neutral mob camp before hitting the supply depot. So we're going to make some quick work of some random NPCs here to help them. And these little toad guys here, you know, any of the three factions can come over here and help these guys. What you have to do is resurrect them and protect them from these Naga-like people. Yeah, it's just one of the things you should really do. Like, control over neutral mobs is a pretty big deal for the most part. So we decided to stop and do this. As you see, I'm using a scepter and focus. I'll resummon my pet here. As a Necromancer, I found you have quite a bit of lifesteal, so as long as you're not directly taking like a ton of damage, you really don't ever have to sacrifice your pet for the heal itself. So he just serves as quite a great tank, because he'll actually tank a couple mobs, die, and you just resummon him. So there's really no love lost there. Now with the Scepter and Focus, the first ability I'm using, standard auto attack, nothing too special, it's pretty cool. Number 2 is a little grasping hand deal. It just deals a little bit of damage, slows them down. 3 is your single target lifesteal ability. 4 is one of my favorites, the reason I'm using a focus. You throw a scythe between enemies and allies, and it bounces between each for a set number of bounces, and slows enemies, I believe, and increases swiftness of any ally it hits. So I found it quite useful for PvP if you're up in the shiz. And the last ability is also useful for PvP because it's a single target spell that hits one person, as single target spells do, and it removes 3 boons. Had a little brain fart there, I apologize. But anyway, as you see, this is yet another character that not knowing what the abilities do, any of that good stuff, I relied on signets yet again, just like the warrior. This was another one of my PvE characters that I did. So, I put a little bit more time into these guys. Now, for the special skill, for the F1 ability for Necromancer, it's kind of, I refer to it as the clutch skill for Necro. It's insane. You collect life force with every attack you deal. When you press F1, you gain a completely new list of abilities, which would be, I believe, 4 abilities, and you turn into like a mini Lich Form. Or actually, I cannot recall the name at the current time. But anyway, I want to say it's Death Shroud. But you get extra skills, and what happens is whenever you take damage, you don't actually lose life, because your life bar turns into your life force bar, which is the green bar next to the F1 button. Now, while you're in the form, it slowly drains over time, as well as being chunked away from being hit by enemy players or NPCs. The one thing that makes it a clutch ability is if you're getting really low on health, you can press F1 and you basically have a brand new health bar to, get out of the situation. If you're running from someone, you can, jump around, get real tricky, hide, pop your little death shroud thing, run off, and as soon as it falls, you can turn it off and then pop your pet out, heal, and then start building life force for that next shroud. So if you play it correctly, you could really have a presence in absolutely every fight and almost be completely unstoppable. Now, as you see, we finished the event here. We were the only color out of the 3 worlds here that decided to help these little frog people. So you see we have random things that we can buy and little vendors we can sell with. One important thing to note is no matter what level, what you're doing, if you're in World v World, if you're helping a friend with lower level content, whatever level you are, any loot that you can find, at least to my knowledge, any loot that you can find and use will be of your level. I found lower level, torches and such on the warrior that I couldn't use that were like level 1. But during the final beta closing, I found level 14 one-hand swords and maces and such off of level 2 deers. So that was one thing I think is really awesome. It's really going to promote, a sense of team play, and I think it's going to be really good for the game. We finally found a blue invader here. Unfortunately, it wasn't just Sky and I. We had a little help, if you can't tell. But we have finally made it to the Dinland Passage. That guy has a really amazing sword, by the way. Alright, so now this is the Dinland Passage. As you see, blue's already here. They probably had, squad commander ping, say, hey, they're coming here. Someone could have seen us, warned the others. But what happens here is there's defenders, there's elites, NPCs. We gotta take them out, reclaim this. Once we turn it to ours, it'll start putting Doliacs out, which are the little yak-like creatures. Now when that happens, you start supplying your nearby forts, but you also have to, one of the side effects of World v World is you have to actually protect these caravans. And in doing so, you bring supplies to the forts which players can go pick up, and then they can use to then create siege weapons. They can use it to reinforce fortresses, or they can hire more guards. There's a really big variety of what you could do with resources, so they're really, really vital. But as you see, we kind of chased them off here. Now, I thought we had them completely on the rope, so I'm going to go ahead and dive forward and, I'm going man mode for a second here. That's what I'm going to refer to it as. As you see, I didn't want to lose a lot of life, so I went ahead and popped my little death shroud. And I'm just spamming some bolts on him now. But I quickly realized I am very outnumbered and nobody wanted to follow me. So the few that I was chasing actually turned on me. Luckily, being a Necromancer, I didn't eat up all my health. I have Death Shroud, pop the heal. I'm fine. I'm gonna walk out of this. I'm gonna be limping, but I'm gonna walk out of it. Now you see we're about to take over the supply depot here. And that was a pretty fun experience. I'd say it was pretty tough because PvP is, it's always tough, no matter what you're doing. They're just gonna be noobs, but in this game it's really easy to recover from that. That is a Doliac I mentioned. One just went out before we could claim it, so we're doing our best to melt it down real quick so they make sure to... We want to make sure they don't get their supplies on that last one. And it counts as a small event on the right. Everything you do in here is a dynamic event. It seems like it rewards, I don't know, a little bit less than PvE. Yeah. quite a bit less than PvE events, but there are tons of them in here. Absolutely everything you do is an event, basically. So, anyway, we're just going to clean up here. This is where we kind of notice, oh crap, we took the node, or we're taking it, but they're coming back in, swooping from the other side. We had to back out at this point, and I almost didn't make it out of this. The unfortunate thing we didn't realize until after this video was shot was the fact that Blue was retaking the supply depot and their main force was at the fort behind us. So unfortunately that video is compromised, so I got to shoot and use all of this footage. Anyway guys, if you liked the video, comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And that's all I got for you today. So until next time, this is Bulg out.